What's up guys, it's Pete, and this is the Epson ColorWorks C6500A inkjet color label printer. Now, this printer is unique in the fact that it can print up to 8.5 inches wide, which is something an Epson ColorWorks printer hasn't been able to do since the C831. In today's video, we're just going to be discussing the quick process of replacing the internal roll media on this printer. I'm going to walk you through removing the old media and installing the new media and making sure your settings are up to date so that you don't have labels feeding out the front of the printer uncontrollably. Let's hop right into it. Much like the other ColorWorks printers, the process of replacing the media on the C6500 is very simple, with a few intricacies that you need to pay attention to so that you're not wasting media or time. So to begin the process of replacing your labels on the C6500 or any of the other C6000 series of printers, you're first going to have to remove your spool from inside the printer. In order to do this, you're going to have to use either the front or the rear latch to open up your printer. I'm going to be using the rear latch just so that you can see what's going on in here. If you already have media inside the printer, you're going to want to find the media release latch and lift it up so that you can remove that roll of media that you have in there. After that, all you have to do is grab the spool and lift straight up out of the printer, sit it aside, and then we're going to want to remove this media shield. Now that the shield is off your media spool, you can go ahead and slide the old roll off of the spool. To place your new media on the spool, I recommend picking it up and looking at it as if it's in the printer so you can make sure that the leading edge of the label is going in the right direction. Holding the labels like this, I'm going to take my spool, get it started, and usually you can push it on. If not, you can also set the spool upright and push the labels down. Just be careful not to telescope your labels. Go ahead and take your media shield, pinching those blue clamps, place it back onto the spool, holding your labels in place. Now, just like with removing the old labels, we're going to take the spool and drop it straight into those grooves. Now, before you try to load your new labels, you want to make sure that the media release lever is back down in position. Once that's in place, you can roll your media back to try to find the leading edge and guide it into the printing mechanism. Once it's far enough into the printer, you'll sort of feel it take the labels from your hand. This means that the printer is moving the labels up into position and getting it ready to print. In my situation, I'm replacing the media with something of the same width, so I actually won't have to move this. But if you're replacing it with media of a different width, you'll want to pinch this blue tab and slide this in and out until it's fit just around the outside of the labels. Now you can go ahead and close up your printer, and let's move around to the front. Before we go ahead and unpause our printer, we're going to want to make sure that our media settings are appropriate for the label being used. Hit OK on the main display and go into the media detect setting. You may have noticed that I removed continuous media from the printer and I installed gap media. So what I'm going to need to do is change this from none to gap detection. Double check that your media source is still internal. Your media form when using internal labels should always be set to roll. Once that's all set, we can go back to the home screen and unpause our printer. Once we unpause the printer, we'll see it look for the leading edge of the labels, and it'll also feed a label out to make sure that the gap detection is in the right spot. If we press the cut button at this point, we should see that the label cuts just before the next label. That means that the printer has it right in the correct spot. Thanks for watching our video on the Epson C6500 color label printer. If you have more questions, head over to our YouTube channel where we have how-tos, demonstrations, and displays of some of the accessories you can get to make your printing processes even smoother. If you can't answer your question there, well, contact us at www.ipsiscan.com for more information, or head over to www.infinitylabelgroup.com to order ink, supplies, and labels, and we'll have them to you as soon as possible. This has been Pete. I'll see you next time.